हाय कैसे आप सब वेलकम बैक टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल SAS with Vikas and in today video we are going to discuss the last topic of function that is the date function that is basically date and time function. So before moving forward with the date and time function we need to understand about the date variable. What is date variable and how we are going to create that date variable. So as till now we discussed that the character function, character variable, numeric function for numeric variable. So what is the date variable? How we are going to create that one? We will understand in today's lecture first. Then we will move forward with the date and time function. So let's start with the date variable. How to create that one? As we have discussed the data creation with input and cards method, so there were in the data creation in input, we are storing the variable with the numeric type and the character type. For the numeric we don't have to mention any the specific value. For the character we need to mention the dollar symbol. Similarly there is some difference in the date variable. So what is date variable, how to represent that one, how to explain to the SAS that how we are mentioning that thing, we'll learn in today lecture. Okay, so let's start this thing like just like take example. I am explaining all thing like data, just because I want to create the data and giving the data name emp1 and storing this data into emp1, that example one you can say. And I'm creating this input variable id and name and sex and doj. So as id is, we can see that id giving the unique number of that person, that id number, and name is used for the given the name of that person, just for the as it is the character functions, so have to give the dollar symbol for that one. Similarly for the sex variable, it's a character variable, so have to give the dollar symbol again. And you can see that there is a third variable, fourth variable, date of joining. So this is the date, it's a kind of date variable. So how the SAS read this date variable, like we had discussed only the numeric one and the character one. So what is this variable? So date variable is a special kind of numeric variable in SAS. It always stores the number of date from it always store the number of date, like it never read the date of that one, like date, month and year, never it reads. It always store the value of number, like what is the number in between. It start from the 1st January 1916 to the specific date. Suppose I'm giving any date like for today date, so it will count the total number of days from the starting date, that is the 1st January 1960, to till today date. So total number of day, what how many the number of day it will count, and it will give you in the numeric value. SAS always reads the date variable in the number. And before that date, like 1st January 1960, if you are mentioning any before that date earlier, it will give you in the numeric value. And after that date, it will give in the positive value. And also it reads the leap year. If you have, suppose in some of year that there's 366 days, that is the leap year, then SAS always read that thing also. So this thing, why this thing is made like for that one, like just for to make a easy calculation, because in SAS we need to deal with the statistics, we have to deal with the calculation. That's why date variable always deal with the like to for the number of days, how many the number of days, it's always count that. So let's just understand that how to create the date variable. And like for that date variable we need to give them in format and format. So what is this in format and format, we will, I will understand each one by one. Like suppose as at the time last till now we had discussed like how to create data for the numeric value and for the character value. But in this emp1 data, I had added one more variable. This is that is date. Suppose what will happen if I will not mention here the in format and format. Suppose I this commented this one like and running this data set before without any running, because I don't know about any, I don't have any knowledge of that date variable. Just as you know the numeric one and know the character one, just similarly I'm creating this data. So what will happen once you run this data set without any know of that in format and format? So you can see that here the id variable, the name variable and sex variable is coming as per the sequence as we have mentioned in the data set while data creation. But in the data joining it's never read that, it will say give you the numeric value and always give with the periodic value like dot. In SAS dot is always said with the periodic value, so a numeric value always give the periodic value. Okay, once there is a no any there is missing value, then it will give in the periodic value dot value. So till now once we are getting, then our work is not completed, we are creating this data variable data of joining, but we are not getting the result in that one. So for showing that result we need to use that in format and format. So what is in format and in format, we will understand this one by one also. Okay, first we are going to uncomment this on in format. So what is in format? In format is used to tell the SAS in which way I had written this variable. Like in this I just created this variable and storing this variable value in this card like date 22 and month 08 and 2000 year. So I have to inform that, I have to tell to SAS that I had created this variable in such format way, like the date for date variable format is like date month and year. So for that I had created in format, just because to tell SAS that this variable date of joining is created in this way like date, dd, month, YY, and you can use that dot for the giving this format. This is the format. Like suppose I'm giving using this one by the starting one, like okay, just for your learning purpose. I just using in format just because to tell the SAS like this is this variable I had created in such way, in such format. So for which variable I am discussing? The date of joining. And what is the format for that one? DDMMYY. Or you can take 10 dot also or dot also. That is your choice. We will see that the date format. What are the date format we can see? There is many more date format. What are the types of date format we can understand by that as per our convenience or as per our the sponsor requirement, we can use that date format, types of format. So just this I had mentioned that in format. So what happened after informing this in format to SAS that I had created this variable in such way? Let's see while running this program, running this data set, we can see that we are getting, now we are getting date of joining variable, but we are not getting as we had mentioned that in the, we had created that in the cards, we had storing that value in the cards. How we are getting? We are getting the number. That's why I told you SAS always the numbers, the day SAS always reads the date value in the number, just because to make a calculation easy we have to deal with the statistics, we have to deal with the means one, that the statistics variance, standard deviation, all the thing. That's why it gives the date value in the number always. Okay, once it was the before from the 1st January 1960, then it will give in the negative sign, and after that 1st January 1960 it will give in the positive side. If there is a leap year also, it will give you the leap year days, number of days. You can check by your practice, that is all thing possible. But now we are not getting the value similarly, like what our requirement, I don't want that number like the date variable, I want that in the date format for the same thing as I had mentioned that one, or as the customer requirement or the sponsored by the organization, like I need this date variable in such format. But till now we are not getting that one. But for that thing we need to use that format. Format is used to show that one, that variable, like to display that variable in the screen. Like in format is used to tell the SAS that this variable is created in such format So just use this format for this variable. Now format is used to display that variable in such format on the screen. So I'm using this format, and format for which variable? Date of joining variable. And what are the types of format you want to use for that date? Then I just want to use this format ddmmyy 10 dot this thing. So what happened after running this one? Like once you add this format statement also, so what will happen? We can see after running this so you can see that we are getting the result as per our convenience. Suppose they are asking for that, like I had mentioned this one, but I don't want that thing, but I don't want that date variable date value in that format. You have to change that format. So where you will go to change? In format or format? That value you need to change in the format, because you had mentioned that date value in the cards values. Like for that you need to use in format. Just to tell the SAS I had created this variable in such way, for that thing you need to use in format. So you are not going to change anything in the in format. Once you want to display that variable date values in different way, different format, types of format, then you have to change this in the format statement. Suppose there is a different type of format date 9 dot like that. So what happens? Suppose I need this like date variable in this format. So this will give you in this format result. So I will share you all the thing like what are the types of format you need to know, and you will there's a there could be used from that one. I will discuss all thing like. So this is about the in format and format. How to deal with the in format and format. What are the date variable? How the SAS read the date variable? All the things you need to know for that thing. So that's for the today. And there's some another way for the writing the in format and format also. You can mention the in format in the same statement, variable statement, like in the inputs also you can mention that in format. Like similarly date of joining is I mentioned there in the ddmmyy 10 dot like that. This is the format types of this variable. And in the another statement we can use this in format for the date of joining variable and give a specific this format types and storing that one also. So by running this you can see also see that I'm getting the same result like that. See, that is also possible. So this is about this date value, date variable. Okay. For so that's all for today. In the date variable, we need to discuss that in format and format. What are the use of this in format and format? Very very important. You need to be very practice with this variable, because in many interviews they can ask like what is the date variable, how to create the date variable, what is the in format, what is format, what are the types of in format, how to create the data with the date variable. So you have to be practice this thing very proficiently. Okay, that's for solve for the day. Just practice all thing. Thank you.